Sometimes you wake up on certain days and you go about your day and you just have these random images and ideas of locations. And you think like maybe my intuition, my inner God, this, my inner soul, my inner peace is trying to tell me something. You keep getting images of old people. You're like, man, you keep just getting the word Tampa keeps coming to your mind, right? Why is that? So you know what I did? I thought about it and it just kept popping up in my head. I don't know why. When you think of Tampa, you think of old people. You think of retirement. You think of safe living. You think of that's where you go when you are ready to just hang it all up. Maybe yourself too. That's nothing to joke about. But hey, when you're at the end of your rope. Now, so I get home and I start looking at specific opportunities there. And I'm like, this kind of makes sense. I like a cost of living. I'm like, that ain't too bad. It's pretty normal to hear. Distance from here, not too far. It's close enough to family, but, it's a different type of environment. And you're like, I'm really an old motherfucker. Like, only I would think about, as a young man in this world, you typically would fantasize about, Miami, LA, Wyoming. So apparently that's where all the rappers go to make their albums. You would think of these hot spots, Cancun. You pick anywhere in the world. And my 28-year-old self is like, hey, go where you're the youngest person per capita. And you'll stand out like a stud muffin. Because you're the only one there without wrinkles. Yet. But they do say you do become a product of your environment. So if I'm just around old people all the time, well, I develop wrinkles for no reason. Well, my clothes will. They have wrinkles on their face. I'll have wrinkles on my clothes. One is from natural aging and one is from uneducated laziness. So, which is worse? But yeah, I don't know what it is. Sometimes you just have these random epiphany. And you know what's weird? I got a little, you ever get like kind of that new feeling of something new? And you get a tingle in your balls. I don't know how to explain it as a guy. It's a real thing. Like when you're excited about something. And it's not even anything like that. You just get excited. You start thinking about like, man, something different in life. And your balls start tingling, It's a real thing. It's your kids saying, yes, let's go there. Is that why your balls tingle when you get excited? Because it's, your little kids in your sperm bank. Like, yes, I want to live there too. And you're like, oh, you'll be living there all right on the walls. But, yeah. And, it's like a couple hours of excitement. Like, man, I'm really thinking about doing this. It makes sense. I have a job that I potentially could have there. It seems like a nice living area. It's a type of tropical environment that the lady would like. It's like, it'd be nice to try something different. When you're young, you're supposed to travel the world. A whole 600 miles away. Supposed to experience life with the youthful as you're around the average age of probably 43 years old. Supposed to live the nightlife. As you're right by a Cheesecake Factory. Um, but nah, in all seriousness, it's like a man. I really want to fucking do it. And then you look at the cost of moving, and you're like, oh, there it is. This is why no one ever moves. This is why everyone's just like, you know what? It's not fucking worth it. It's like $6,000 after everything. It's like it's basically like $100. What, like $100 an hour to drive? I don't know. $100 a mile. It's insanity, you know. But yeah. It's that if you're a believer in manifestation, I guess you could say I'm manifesting that I'm gonna move somewhere and retire on the spot, because, you know, I'm gonna be around people that are financially there and have knowledge, and maybe they could show me the ropes of how to illegally transfer funds or something. I don't know, you know. It's just it's that weird, like, it's a feeling I hadn't had in a while, and I don't know what hit it. You know, pre-workouts hit like crazy. Pre-workouts make you, you know, some people do shrooms to enlighten their life. I just get a little C-bum essential pre. A little nothing, a little blue raz can make the mind go jizzy jazzy. Because I'm the Fresh Prince of Tampa. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I know, you know, sometimes you don't have to know anything about the place, but there's something that is driving you there. But yeah, to be continued, I guess. You know, I get it. I'm going to be getting all the I'm an old man joke. But honestly, maybe really, you're too young to be around mature people on the elliptical, you know, with collapsed veins in their legs. I don't know. Maybe I want to be around a more mature crowd because I'm a mature man. Maybe I need to be around these old folks so, you know, I can make them feel young again, and they help me become the man I need to be. You know, a little yin yang, no twin. But they'll shake it like a salt shaker, but not too much because, you know, they got to watch their blood pressure. Me too, probably. I'm here double scooping pre-workout, looking like a madman at the gym while the guys over there just doing 10-pound elbow extensions, you know. Different goals, but doesn't mean it's less meaningful. So, yeah. I'll be your Tampa Bay ray of sunshine. All right. But yeah, I guess the moral of all that is hey, if you have the urge to move without thinking through something and it feels right and your balls tingle, well then Merry Christmas, because boy, my bank account's ready to jingle all the way to bankruptcy. Just have a few months of satisfaction, be like, yes, we did it. Yeah. But yeah, welcome to episode 280 of the Off Beat Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Tampa. Oh, yeah. Recording this at 12:09 p.m. Eastern. No, a.m. Eastern, because it's after midnight. On June 2nd, 2024. For the archives. Yeah. It's an exciting time for the Nelsons. Well, Nelson Mandela. Because, man, I've been Delia... a bad hand. Alright, that was terrible. But yeah. Yeah, you know, it's weird. It's one of those things that doesn't make sense. But it was a natural feeling. I was just going about my day doing a normal thing that I do in the day. And the image of Florida. I'm not a Florida guy. Yeah, I'm not into the crazy Floridian stuff. But it was kind of cool. It was that feeling of feeling alive. You think of some things and you're just like, I don't know why I thought it, but something made me think it. It'll be alright. But yeah. And this is why I do it alone. But yeah. Hey, while you're at it, can you unplug that waterfall? And this is why you moved to Tampa. So instead of cockroaches, you get crocodiles. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a big boy. It'll be alright. But yeah. But yeah. Anyways. But yeah, sometimes you have these feelings. And they just naturally come. And you can't really explain it. And when it happens, you just trust your guidance. If it's going to bother you that bad, just go in the room. But yeah. It's one of those things that you got to just trust your gut instinct. It doesn't always make sense when it happens, but when it happens, you just got to feel it. But yeah. But what the fuck do I know? I don't know shit. But yeah, anyways, you gotta live. You gotta live to give. And when you think about things, sometimes, sidetrack is what happens when you do it live. It was one of those weird moments. You're just kind of doing something and these images pop in your head. And it's like imagery. Imagery is one of the most powerful forces. Visualness that we have. Not videos, but imagery. It's like these flash moments. Just close the door. Imagery is one of the things that it's the most powerful visual thing you have. And if you keep having it, there's a reason. It's almost like if something keeps popping up in your head over a small period of time, something's telling you something. Now look, what if it was images of Argentina? Probably not making that move, What if it was images of Hawaii? I'd probably be like, have you seen the cost of eggs over there? But there's something like, it seems doable. I think that's the thing. When it actually feels in reach. I know I'm just mumbo-jumboing right now. But I promise there's a point to this. I think everybody's saying when you think of things, when things pop up, don't ignore it. The more random it is, the more meaningful it probably has. God damn, that is a big motherfucker. But that's the thing, When the more you actually, holy shit. Hold on a second. I got something to do. Anyways, as I was saying, traveling. The way I'm really taking a lot of steps getting to the point here. Getting to the goal, getting to the paint. Oh, Jesus. Fuck me. Fuck. I don't know why. I'm not a big, I don't really even know why. Why. What's really the point of all of it anyways? Whether you live in one place or the other, it's all the fucking same. It's like the saying, no matter where you go, there you are. Now time to get cynical about it. That whole optimism, that's that great couple hours of, it's going to be the greatest thing in the world. And then you know what? You go there, you still are lackluster in how you feel about things. People are always going to be unhappy. No matter where you go, people will be unhappy. You're going to deal with unhappy people everywhere you go. So, I don't know. Maybe the move is like, maybe I'm trying to be around a different environment. Thinking the life I have here with my interactions with people, it's kind of gotten mundane. And maybe this is a desperate attempt to feel alive again. When in reality, maybe I'm the issue. Maybe wherever I go, there I am. There. I like that twist turn. So, I don't know. So, I think that's something we got to be careful about when we want to make these drastic life decisions. It sounds great. It makes you feel good. It's like the honeymoon phase of a different place. There's always, the grass is always greener. Well, the beach is always beachier, I guess, in this instance. It's better weather, different environment, because it's always easy when you're living in something, you can see everything that's wrong in it. And you forget that there's wrong everywhere you go. It may not be the same problems, but it's just a different set of problems. And so, I think that's something, it's like maybe I just want a different set of problems. It's like here, I have some problems, and then some, I don't have any problems because it's pretty established that I care to not have those problems. Or if I go somewhere else, it's like, hey, maybe I can have a different set of problems. Make life interesting again. And then, problems I have here, maybe I won't have there because I have a different perspective. And maybe going these places, it makes you, the importance of traveling isn't to have a better grasp of life. It's not to have a better grasp of how the world operates. Maybe traveling is really for you to realize that every place has problems, has the same amount of problems. It just might be different problems. And it's really just where you want to focus on the problems about. You can find problems in anything. I could look in the room I am and find 7 things I dislike, right? That annoys me. Or I could choose to embrace the 100 things that I do like in the room. It's a pretty good ratio. If you like 93% of the stuff you see at a point in time, you're living a great life. I think that's something you got to be careful before you make drastic decisions. And it's something that now is starting to, Jesus, starting to hit me. I went through the many phases of how great it would be, and it's like, it could be expensive. But hey, after you get through all that, you get settled in, everything will be fine. And then you're like, you know what? Maybe it'll be the same problem, just packaged in a different area. Sometimes it could be worse, because at least with the situation you're in, at least there's some familiarity. You're comfortable. But sometimes that could be an issue. You get too comfortable. I think sometimes, maybe my idea, without my nonchalant, my in the back of my head reason, without thinking it forthright, is that maybe I'll be motivated again. But you know what? I probably won't be. Because motivation, you can't really manufacture motivation. You can't really bring something out of you just by doing something drastic. That's not really how that works. It's a natural stepping stone there. So I don't know. But hey, apparently it's the second least violent city for a major city. So I guess we gotta find a way to make it the safest. Which apparently, did you know that Thor's hammer, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, weighs the amount of 300 million buffaloes. That's why it's so hard to lift for everyone else. So take that to your piggy bank. Big bank, big bank. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah. Enough of that. Sorry for like the 7-minute hiatus. There was a instance that all day they have the instance, but it wants to happen when you're doing something. That's how the shit always works. But yeah. If a cat crawls under the mousetrap, does that mean you opened it up like a double click? Swiping, no swiping. It's adorable how these little whores are explorers. So by the way, if I saw a little El Salvador girl just roaming around the Amazon jungle, probably gonna have more questions than answers. Just saying. I'm gonna think she's been kidnapped. Kind of like Blood Diamond. Dora the Explorer is really a victim of Blood Diamond, Now that's some boots on the ground action we're looking for. So, if a cat takes the trash out, but doesn't take it to the dumpster, is it kitty litter? She thought it was funny. The cat glared at me. Took a brief glance at me like, really, dude? Yeah. Well, I'll stuff you in a book bag and call it a day and take you on a hike and maybe you'll come back. But yeah. It's right there. Gotta have some fun with it. Yeah. But, yeah. Who needs Lord of the Flies? We got Lord of the Rings. When apparently Lord of the Flies is just poetry for incest. That's apparently what the backstory of it. Cauliflower is really just a yeast infection of broccoli and bleached. As Drake would say. I guess I am like Prince. You are like Mike. you change your features to please the whites. So, Uno reverse. Because when I bleached my skin, I actually was unpleased. I unpleased the whites. Because they're like, why aren't you tanning? They're like, I think I told this before, where someone literally said, hey man, looking a little pale there. And I was like, you're literally paler than me. Like, it's like, I lose a little tan, and all of a sudden, I look albino. I look like Winnie Harlow's half cousin or something. But, God forbid I go from just, to mid to light mid, whatever the skin tone we want to use. But, it's always from people that shouldn't. It's like when skinny ass dudes try to tell you, oh man, it looks like you lost some size. It's like, it looked like you never had any. It's always weird. Like, oh man, you stop hitting the gym. It's like you can't even afford a gym membership. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but hey, I don't see, that's the thing. It's always people that should not be criticizing people about features, looks, and all these things. Like the Democrats. No. But no, it's always people that want to point out features or flaws. They're like, you lost a step. Like, it looks like, it looks like you kind of relaxed, but you got lazy. It's like, you were never unlazy. Like, you never even started half of the journey. So that's the thing. It's almost like you're better off doing nothing, not even trying, because no one will criticize you, than if you did do something pretty well, and then all of a sudden you decide to take a break or things happen, like, then people want to point out when you don't look as good or when you look a little different in a negative way, per se. And people want to point that out. Like, it's the biggest deal in the world. It's like, all right, well, yes. And I could lose another 80% of whatever you're criticizing about and still be better than you. So how about that? How about them apples? But yeah. Any woohoo. Yeah. I gotta say, I think air conditioning's for pussies. Here's what I mean by it. I don't literally mean that you shouldn't have an air conditioning unit. What I am saying is, if your air conditioning unit makes you put on a jacket or not, then, I question who you are as a person. Because it's artificial air, Because you imagine your dad, when they were a young kid, they didn't have air conditioning units. Did they put on a million jackets when it got a little cold? It's like, no. They let their nips get hard. They let the world see it. And they look like the boy in the striped pajamas. And then, back in the day, boys used to do questionable things. And I gotta say, I'm not speaking from experience, but speaking on weird family stuff. I think here's a problem when you have actually close-knit families. This is why I'm anti all families being close. I don't mean like your immediate family. I do not care to be friends with my cousins, my third cousins, my fourth aunties. It's weird when the ages don't make sense. I've met other families where the aunts are 30 years older than them. And then some families, they're the same age as you. I don't know how this shit works. I think it all depends on teen pregnancy or something. I mean, it's not insult. It's just how, the tree works. You on the Ancestry.com to tell you that. What happened here? But what I was talking about. Oh yeah. But here's the problem when families that get together all the time. Like, you have like a once a year maximum limit, in my opinion, to be meeting up with your uncles, your cousins for, a holiday event together. Anything more than that's a little bit excessive. Because from my experiences with people I've interacted with, it's been a lot of family diddling around. And what I mean by that is, teenagers, like 12, 13-year-olds, they go over each other's houses and they cuddle. That is a thing. That is some kids they're very experimental about. They're very curious. And then we got to be careful about too much family time together, The more family time you have together, the more weird stuff can happen. Because Twister turns into Twista. Rhymes. Especially when you have a bunk bed with your auntie. Not me. I'm just saying, these things are true. Like, I know plenty of stories where, a person, they cuddled or they experimented touching with their of age stepsister. Of age, so it's weird. It's like, they don't know better, but at the same time it's weird, which is why I guess you don't want your kid. I guess is why in certain families they don't really like sleepovers. And I don't know how I feel. Would I want my kid to sleep over at anyone's houses? My sons, absolutely. My daughters, absolutely not. Let me tell you why. And I know that comes off weird. One, I would trust my sons to say no, because they're always in positions of power. That's the thing. You got to teach your sons to always feel they're in positions of power. No one can make you do anything you don't want to do. That's just facts, If you truly want to walk around and have these broad shoulders and you want to fuck people up that want to fuck you up, well, then you better say no when they want to touch your wee-wee, all right? I don't care, You got to tell them no. Now, with the ladies, it's a lot different. You can feel pressure and your safety is at risk, so you may agree to do some things that you don't really want to do and feel uncomfortable about because you're afraid XYZ may happen. All right? That's a real thing. All right? So, that's where it's different. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Would I want people to sleep over at my house? Not really. Because I just don't like people in my house. Not even my own kids. Like honestly, I think there should be like a service. Well, I guess it is. It's called foster care. Should be a service where it's like 2 days a week. You can send your kids somewhere for free, and it's like government assisted. And, they just do like kid stuff. They stay at a regular home with another family, a trusted family. It's just like, well, I guess I'll just be your grandparents. But this whole thing, like, not every grandma or granddad wants to be with the kids all the time. Like, even if they are retired, like, they don't want to be around the kids every other week. They don't want to be your kid's babysitter. Like, if I'm a grandparent, like, I'll see the kid at birth. I'll see them 4 months later. Come around for the holidays. But other than that, I don't want to spend a weekend with them. What the fuck am I going to do with an 8-year-old when I'm 58? Hit him, mow the lawn with them? What am I going to do, Take him out to dinner? Like, well, honestly, like, what do you do with your kids? I know this sounds crazy, but if you're like a parent, what do you actually do with your kids all day? Like, other than, eat with them, watch TV with them, maybe you go to places like this whole, like, in the TVs and movies where, like, they would have a My Wife and Kids or Seventh Heaven, where they would have that epiphany moment with their kids sitting down in their bed, talking about, son, sometimes turbulent times in life is what makes you a man. No one's actually saying that to their kid. I'm not sitting there with my daughter telling her, like, hey, I know they bully you at school, calling you ugly. You got bad teeth. I told you to floss. I know they're making you feel bad, but at the same time, I'm not going to tell you it's going to get better. It's only going to get better when you want it to get better. And that's the hard talk you got to have with these kids. It's going to get worse before it gets better. That's a fact of life. That's not being negative, but the reality is things only get better when you get better. See, I'm not a complete dickhead. But they will get worse. But it will still, even when it gets better, it will get a little bit worse. Maybe even tragically worse. Where you're going to hit such rock bottom. Where by default, it will get better. Sometimes you hit such rock bottom that when Linus comes to your door and says, I got a rock, you said, no, I've already got a rock. It's at the bottom of where I'm at right now, Linus. You dusty ass ghost. I touched your mom's great big pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Pumpkin doesn't even taste that good anyway, so I don't know what the big fucking deal with the pumpkin is, because the pumpkin doesn't taste like pumpkin pie. It's actually pretty, unappetizing. It's pretty dry. It's pretty bitter. But a girl that's dressed like a pumpkin, hoo hoo hoo. Just dressed like a pumpkin. Oh, it is a great big pumpkin, alright. It's James in the Giant Page. But yeah. Now, you know what? That's the thing. Don't sleep over at my house. But also, what I want? I don't know. That's it's weird. There's play dates with kids. It's important. Look at me having children talk. The person that has no children is telling you parents how to parent your children. How to safely navigate this world. This is who you should be listening to. But yeah, I think here's the thing. I think I would be a great babysitter, but I wouldn't enjoy it. Sometimes you could be great at something, but you absolutely are miserable at it. Like, and that sometimes you're so good at something, you almost feel you're doing a disservice from the world to quit. So yeah, I feel like as a babysitter, we wouldn't do anything extravagant. Like, I'm not taking the kids to Six Flags. Like, are you fucking insane? That's a terrible day for everyone. But we're going to stay at the house and we're going to conversate, and they're going to be like, oh, this guy's interesting. And they're going to go to school and tell their friends, get expelled about stuff because they get ideas from me. But, they're going to be the most interesting kid in class. I will, as the kids say, I'll raise your riz up. Which is kind of, we have these dating coaches to flirt with girls. Are you a weirdo? Are you a pedophile? If you teach a 12-year-old, or we'll just say a 15-year-old kid, a 15-year-old boy how to flirt with a 15-year-old girl, are you kind of a creep because you are saying things that a 15-year-old would like, and you've put your mind in the place of a teenager? Does that mean you're attracted to teenagers? Dangerous world you out here. But, the story could be said. They say all girls are the same. Is it true? Of course not. But there are things that could work on a 10-year-old that could probably work on a 40-year-old. They like what they like, as they say. Some things never change, They're natural, girls are naturally attracted to what they're attracted to, But I'm not in a position to speak about that because I'm a pale male. Oh, Jesus. I wonder what I would be in jail. Like, they say in jail, there's no just like being an isolated person, no one fucks with you. You can't just you kind of have to pick a side, Now, regardless if you're isolated or not, you can't be a target. People at least have to know not to fuck with you. But you have to prove at some point that you're not someone worth fucking with. But you are basically a target, or you have to target people to maintain your level of space and respect. So I guess the question is have you ever thought about, we have these dumbass quizzes what's your personality type? I'm a disassociative, passive advantage person, It's always I'm a parasocial personality, whatever the fuck that means. It's I'm a great leader. It's you can't remember your own passwords. How are you going to lead anything if you can't remember your passwords? But, being a leader can be a very difficult thing. And that's the thing, there's different types of leaders. I think the number one mistake people make when they get into any leadership position of any type is they automatically start betraying the aggressive aspects of a leader, of what they think a real leader is, which is someone trying to set their territory. Oh no, I'm not going to allow this. I'm going to just, not even yell, but just have an angry tone at any time someone fucks up or is not doing something up to, standard or something like that. They try to quote unquote set their territory really quickly. And it just makes people roll their eyes at you, to be honest. Especially if you don't have a history that has a track record of it proven. If you're a newer person at a position or in a leadership position and you try to do that over the top shit of, we ain't doing that shit here, I'm going to probably do that shit right here. And you're going to threaten. And the number one tactic people like this use is they threaten with verbal threats of write-ups or policy or some type of documentation to try to, I'm just going to hold everyone accountable all the time. It's like if you do that, then just do it. Don't sit here and do these verbal threats all day, yell to the top of your lungs when things aren't going your way. And I think people seek that phoniness out. It's the number one mistake is people go from one thing to another and they automatically just take it up to 10. And they don't gradually, actually, insert that over time where people actually feel that you're serious about it. And it's not a power trip. I think that's the biggest thing. I think people take positions to have power but they really don't have the type of power they think they do. Because there's always someone above you that has more power than you in 99.99% of cases. So, at the end of the day, I don't know. I think leadership is such a subjective thing, but it's also very like, it's very unanimous when it's good leadership, but it's very subjective when it's bad. Because when it's good, it's undeniable in the sense of whether the message is being relayed or it's being received a certain way. The results are the results, and you can't deny what led to those results. But sometimes you could get results and the leadership was dog shit, or the leadership was really misguided, or it was inconsistent, but people take credit for that shit. So I'm just getting tired of people talking about leadership and acting like they know what it's really about. And that's, my experience, what I've realized is that leadership can be done in just about any personality type. It's really about how consistent you are in the way you go about it. I think that's the thing people respect most. It's not the if you're going to be like this, you better be like that every day. If you're going to be, like this, you better be like that every day. When you're like one day like this and that, that's when people are just like, bruh, like, chill the fuck out. Like, no one's taking what you're saying serious. And it's people that want to have power. And it's really false sense of power. Because at the end of the day, no one has power over shit. Like, if you had that much power, your income would be 3 times as much as it is. So, all the documentation, all the I'm gonna threaten this and threaten that, people who are your peers roll their eyes at you. And that's the thing, there's not one right way or wrong way, but there is a, Jesus Christ, who would want to work for this every day? Japanese, look at these. Anywho, Wendy woo. Oh, I'm homecoming, all right. Tit-tat-toe. Licking them toes. That's how you win the game of tic-tac-toe. It don't matter if it's vertical, horizontal, whatever that is, parallel. It don't matter. As long as, it's as long as it's in a row, I'm playing the banjo. Bing, 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 ba-ding, ba-ding. Because I band with the average Joes. Because Global Gym. It's a dodgeball reference, Jesus Christ. It's from a movie. We're better than you. Gosh. That would be cool to join a Global Gym. I wish Global Gym was a real gym. That's all I have for that. It's so funny when he eats that donut. It's like he's trying to, because he used to be like overweight or whatever. Then he got crazy in the fitness, became Dwight. Was it Dwight Goodman? Yeah, Dwight Goodman. And became the owner of Global Gym, changed his life around. But then he's like so extreme against like fast food and stuff that his way of the resistance training was someone, there's like a donut in front of his mouth and he's like shocking himself, shocking his ball sack so he doesn't eat the donut, like, That would be, I should probably be doing that with energy drinks and coffee. It's just shocking my ball sack. I feel like, my kids would shock themselves away. But, you can dodge a wrench, but you can't dodge this sperm. Over the net. We don't tennis that, as Jay-Z would say. But yeah, I think the moral of this pod is hey, if you're gonna move, make sure you like the way you move. Dun, dun, dun. And if you're gonna move, don't move with everyone that's like you. Move around the old people. Like, what's the point of moving if you're just gonna be around more people like you? If you want a different life or a different perspective, move around people who have more money than you, Move around people that experience life. People that you can go on long, brisk walks with. Someone that could sneak you into their country club so you can take a couple swings, Make some extra money as a caddy. That's actually not a bad deal. Caddy. They call me the caddy daddy. Yep, it'll be a swing and a miss, all right. Because I'll probably hand you the wrong club. If I worked at a country club, all I'd be doing is on the golf course just drinking beers and eating club sandwiches. That'd be a pretty good gig. But I feel like the club sandwiches, those would probably be dry as fuck. I probably have to bring my own mayo. And they're probably going to be all on the golf course eating tuna melts. But yeah, move around the old people. And low crime rate. And then someone's going to see that and be like, oh yeah, well I'm going to go there and cause a stir. Burglary. Yeah. Alright. That was episode 280 of the Offbeat Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. And, manifest your retirement. Move there before you have any business thinking about it. Yeah. But if you break up the words Tampa, it's Tampon Bay. Tampon Bay? Huh? Nothing but tampons hanging around. In Kensington, they have nothing but like fentanyl needles and heroin needles. Maybe Tampa Bay, their way of getting crazy, is having tampons all over the place. But then again, most of them are like 6 years old. They probably don't get periods anymore. So, but yeah. Hey, as someone who used to have to clean a woman's bathroom at a McDonald's, Jesus Christ, that separate tampon trash can was one of the most horrendous smelling things I've ever smelled in my life. I don't know why everyone was changing their tampons at a McDonald's, but it was real. The struggle was real. And it was like 8 feet away from the play place. I'm not even kidding. And sometimes extreme situations cause you to change your life. You know what made me leave that job? The day I had to clean shit out of a urinal. Some fucking 10-year-old kid shit in a urinal. And literally that day when I went on break, I went across the street, applied at a lower paying job, and it was the best decision of my life. Because at least I got to work with my friends. Well, friend. Then other people became friends. And then my friend became more than friends with them. But really wanted the sister. Wrong sister. And then she was kind of a bitch. Actually, I've seen her at the gym like a couple months ago with some weird grabbing guy. Guy was really grabbing stuff like unnecessarily. Like, you know, the guy that like tries to be a little bit too like sexually aggressive everywhere. Like, you know, they pull up in the parking lot. He gets in and he just starts grabbing her ass. It's like, bro, you don't look like a guy that should be just like grabbing ass like that, you know? You're not an ass grabber. You're a, look at me, I'm grabbing this ass, you know? No one's going to touch my girl. It's like, no one was. Don't worry. Not being mean, but, you know, she was kind of a bitch. And she fucked my friend over. So, yeah. Grab it. Grab it to go like a pre-made sandwich. Because she was pre-packaged with all that makeup. But yeah. Oh, really went down a dark rabbit hole. Anyways, the moral of all that is keep your hands to yourself. Have a great day. Night, evening, sunrise. Yep.